Get ready for a lot of gifts and abundance as Venus enters her home sign of Taurus on Monday, April 29th. Here, the goddess of love will stay until May 23rd, encouraging slow, steady, and pleasure-oriented approach to love, creativity, and life. Let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive astrology. If you enjoy my content and like my work, please take a second to show your support by leaving a like or a comment, subscribing, and pressing the notification bell. It really helps YouTube algorithm to show my content to more people, helps me grow. You also have the option of saying thank you by buying me a coffee or tea or whatever you prefer. Thank you so much for doing that as well. Before we dive in, if you have important questions, you want to understand your natal chart and figure out what it says, what it's all about, or you're curious to know what the year ahead has in store for you, you have a birthday coming up and would like to know the future, you can always book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. On my website, you can also find the variety of candles and oils I create using carefully selected astrologically benevolent times. For example, this is my Moon in Cancer 2, second edition candle. This one captures the powerful moon in rulership in the sign of Cancer, and it smells like moonflower nectar, which is the flower of the moon. It is decorated with the silver foil, which is the metal of the moon, and has the power to soothe you, relax you, help with stressful times, help with your sleep, and just create a sense of emotional ease and balance. Additionally, since we are talking about Venus, my Venusian creations are Exalted Venus, which captures Venus in another sign she's pretty happy in, which is Pisces. And this one is green, the color of Venus, decorated with aquamarine stone, which is also associated with Venus and is perfect for anyone born with their natal Venus in an air or fire sign, earth or water sign. And if your ascendant sign is an earth or water sign. Additionally, if your natal Venus is placed in the signs of detriment or fall, which is Virgo, Aries, or Scorpio, if it's placed in the dark house, 6th, 8th, or 12th, and if it's making difficult aspects like a conjunction, square, or opposition to Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And my Venus in Libra 2 candle is perfect for air and fire rising signs and air and fire Venus signs. And similar energy, right? Really good for love, creativity, inspiration, connection. Venus is all about bringing things and people together. So Venus in Libra 2, which is also the second edition, created in 2023, can help you inspire romance, find harmony, move past conflicts, and have ease in relationships. Thank you for listening to that, and thank you for supporting my work. Even if you're just sending me happy thoughts, I appreciate that a lot. I feel it. I feel it, you guys. So Venus enters Taurus at 7:32 a.m. Eastern on April 29th, stays for about 3 weeks, a little bit more, until May 23rd. In Taurus, Venus is at home. Every planet has a sign that it feels aligned with. For many planets, it's two signs. For Venus, it's Taurus and Libra. So when Venus comes to Taurus, she's at ease. She's like the queen in her castle. She doesn't have to respond to any other planets. She's free to do her own thing. And so for a while, we've had Venus in the sign of Aries, which is a very martial, feisty, conflict-oriented Venus. You know, it's a placement that could have inspired us to speak our mind, but potentially created some friction in relationships. Please let me know, how has Venus and Aries been? Maybe you've enjoyed it. Maybe it's been beautiful for you. So anyways, Venus coming to Taurus has a bit of a more relaxing, a more chill vibe. Like I said, it's the planet of love in her home sign, right? She's got her goodies. She's got her sort of sensual pleasures, her delicious foods, her beautiful pieces of clothing, her jewelry. She's just joyful. So I think that's part of the reason why I am so excited about May, is that we're going to have Venus in the home sign. She's going to be hanging out with Jupiter, with the sun. Mars will also be in the home sign, so it's not just pleasure fest. There's also a lot of action with Mars and Aries, but we have that sort of Venus in Taurus is feminine. She's yin. It's a yin sign, so she's not like actively pushing for things, but she's able to appreciate and savor the moment, to just take things as they come, right? She's very sensual, very lustful. So we become a lot more pleasure oriented. We appreciate the touch a lot more. We appreciate slowing down. We take pleasure in being in nature and watching birds and touching the ground, hugging the trees, right? A very physical, very tactile, very kind of, like I said again, like lustful placement. Venus in Taurus has strong urges sexually, romantically, creatively. Creatively, this is beautiful. You may experience a sense of like divine inspiration, finding inspiration in nature, finding inspiration in the curve of your partner's body, right? Very like, you don't have to, once again, you don't have to force things. You don't have to go out there to make things happen. It's already here. It's already, all beauty is all around you. Romantically, we crave stability. We want to create projects, once again, that are like tangible, that other people can see and touch. We want to create relationships that are long lasting and stable. We might be a little bit like slower romantically. We're not, once again, we know our worth and we're happy with who we are. We don't need to force things. So you may notice it will be an interesting dichotomy between Venus being in Taurus and Mars the next day on the 30th of April entering Aries for the next month and a half, because the two are a bit contradictory, right? Venus in Taurus is like, let's take it slow. Mars in Aries is like, but I want you, let's go, let's do it now. So we shall see how it goes. The shadow side of Taurus is, of course, being too sort of pleasure seeking to a point of wasting a lot of time, right? Just sort of being too slow and nothing happens. And you just notice that you spent a day laying in bed and eating snacks, right? And then you realize that someone has been waiting for you and you chose pleasure over responsibility. Being stubborn, being controlling and possessive, that's the fixed sign danger sometimes, especially the earth fixed sign, which is arguably the most fixed of them all, right? Earth. If it's fixed in the shape of like a building, a brick, I don't think you make bricks out of earth. What do you make bricks out of? Question for you. But like the fixed water is still water. It still can take shape, but fixed earth can be quite stubborn. So watch out for that tendency to like, look at people in your life as your possessions that you sort of have ability to influence. Even if you have ability to influence them, you don't want to take it too far and start acting like they're your objects instead of your loved ones. So some important dates to note: Venus will square Pluto on May 1st. You start to feel it pretty much right away as Venus enters Taurus on Monday the 29th. And so yeah, 29th, 30th on the 1st they square, and then give it about 3 more days, the entire, we can say from Monday into Saturday, April 29th into May 4th, you feel that. And what's interesting is Pluto is stationing to go retrograde the next day. So this suggests something coming to light, some type of power struggle, some type of secret, some type of realization. Maybe tension, maybe obsession, maybe some kind of shadow of your desires becoming more apparent to you, where you realize you get jealous, or you realize you're too controlling with your creative partner, or you're too fearful to get things going. And Mercury also will square Pluto on May 17th, so this will continue, and you will sort of get second chapter of this. But the fact that Pluto is going retrograde suggests to me that the realizations you're making right now will then help you create sort of transformation internally. So whatever is happening early in May, late April in your relationships of all kind, not just romantic relationships, but in your agreements and your partnerships and your creative relationships, familial relationships will give you a clue on what you need to work on. May 13th, Venus sextiles Saturn. For single people, this could suggest an attraction to someone older. If you're sort of dating around, you may feel inspired to solidify a relationship, having serious conversations about love, experiencing sort of, opportunities to move things forward is quite likely here. And commit. And also, Venus and Saturn together, really good at like paying attention to details and crafts and perfecting things. So it could also be a great few days, couple of days before, a couple of days after, to work on your project and to make some improvements, to sort of tinker, right? May 18th, Venus conjoins Uranus, which is interesting because like after romantic tensions, Venus squaring Pluto on the 1st, Mercury squaring Pluto on the 17th of May, we get to start fresh. We get to experience something new. We're more open-minded, we're more experimental, we're more open to possibilities of new relationships, of new creative projects, of new energy coming into our life. So quite exciting. And then May 23rd, 3 days before, few days after, Venus will conjoin Jupiter, which is extra beautiful. Venus does enter Gemini on the 23rd later in the day. So once again, you're likely to feel it between May 20th, May 23rd, starts to subside pretty quickly after May 23rd. But Venus is the beauty of a good day, and Jupiter is the beauty of a good life. So together, there's a lot of opportunities. There's potentially rewards for your past actions. There is a lot of pleasure, a lot of joy, a little bit of a danger of letting good times slip through your fingers because you're just so focused on getting pleasure. So make sure you're taking advantage of any creative, educational, travel, romantic opportunities that are coming your way. Venus also sextiles Neptune the same day, helping you feel more inspired, more aligned, more connected in your relationships. So let's take a look at the 12 rising signs and describe what gifts Venus entering Taurus has in store for you. If you are an Aries rising, Venus is entering your second house. This is beautiful for money. This is beautiful for resources. This is wonderful for taking your creative inspiration and turning it into a piece of art, painting and selling your work, pressing flowers, doing some type of creative artistic work. You may feel inspired to partner up with other people. You may be quite lucky around this time to, partner up, like find really good partners, good relationships. Venus will be squaring Pluto in your 11th house, so there might be a bit of tension between your new desires and maybe even your desire for financial abundance and your friendships or your group projects, your kind of entanglements with other people. So perhaps you are encouraged to transform your relationships, to release outdated patterns, to have some conversations and move things forward. But I really like Venus in the second house as, positive kind of investments. Around this time, you can be luckier when it comes to investing into art, when it comes to investing into creative music projects, investing into things that you really like, and spending more on beauty procedures, spending on cosmetics, makeup, stuff like that, just sort of treating yourself. Just of course make sure that you're not overspending. Venus will also sextile Saturn in your 12th house, which suggests that I think she's helping you, she's giving you resources, she's encouraging better self-worth that can also help you transform and release. Once again, that theme of releasing things, but Saturn in the 12th house is closing chapters. So whatever you're working on closing, Venus in the second can be a source of resources, a source of connections, a source of inner confidence that helps you make that shift. Let me know how it resonates, and if you're curious to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. We can talk in depth about your chart and your future. If you are a Taurus rising, Venus is entering your first house. Love Venus in the first house, especially for Taurus and Libra risings, because And also Pisces risings, because this is Venus in her home sign. Your mother, your ruler is coming home. She's giving you more charm. She's giving you more power to manifest. You can just show up and think happy thoughts and reality will reciprocate. You become more pleasure oriented. It's also like a great few weeks to treat your senses, to take yourself to a spa, to go shopping, to rethink your appearance, to maybe change your look, change your hair. It's like a really, really lovely time. And once again, it's a really good time for like manifesting whatever your heart desires. There will be a little bit of friction between your pleasure-seeking nature, your desire for like good times, and potentially work drama as Venus squares Pluto in early May, late April. So watch out for that and try to like avoid maybe being controlling and avoid drama as much as you can. It's very much like the tension, I think, between this is what I desire, this is what makes me happy, versus this is what other people expect of me and what my job requires of me. So perhaps there is an invitation there to make the changes necessary. You can work through it with your friends, with your networks, maybe explore new dreams, because Venus will also be sextiling Saturn in your 11th house. And then like around mid-May, as Venus conjoins Uranus in the first house and Jupiter in your first house, I think you are more capable of making the changes necessary and seeing things from a brighter perspective. So a little bit of a hiccup early on, but then things smoothing over later on. If you are a Gemini rising, Venus is entering your 12th house. So 12th house is quite interesting because 12th house represents the hidden underwater terrain of mental health, of self-defeating tendencies, of spiritual interest. So if we're talking about love and Venus is in the 12th house, this could suggest a desire for someone who is unavailable, for someone who is self-destructive, for someone who is like not fully there for you. So this is the downside. So be careful of just like getting so attracted and so caught up in these feelings for someone who is not right for you. On the positive, this could inspire you to get away with your partner, to go to a cabin together, to rest together, to take a step away and have some solitude and some rest. Maybe you're spending more time in nature. Maybe you're painting in nature, letting your imagination inspire you and take you to new heights. Venus in the 12th house can definitely be very inspired. She can also encourage you to tap into your spiritual interests. Maybe there's a passion project that you've been postponing and not working on. So Venus in the 12th house would be a great time to work on it in solitude and take kind of action in solitude. Early on in this transit, Venus will square Pluto in the 9th house. So you may have to, your desire for rest, your desire for retreat and peace will have to contend with some legal matters you have to deal with, some travel matters, education matters, even just sort of any kind of like logistical figuring things out, writing, maybe rewriting something, maybe your editor comes back to you or a lawyer comes back to you and you need to fix some things. But then Venus sextiles Saturn on May 13th, allowing you to figure things out. There could also be some kind of professional reward and opportunity, and eventually she will conjoin Uranus and Jupiter between the 18th and the 23rd of May, inspiring breakthroughs and kind of unique, creative, spiritual, astrological, passion project related opportunities. Let me know how this resonates and book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, to know more and to have me look at your chart to tell you what's coming up or tell you what your chart has to say about your life. If you are a Cancer rising, Venus is entering your 11th house. This is quite lovely. Venus in the 11th house is a good time for social times, for going out with your friends. You may notice that there's suddenly more invites, more opportunities to hang out, to present your work, to speak in public. You have more charm. Your charm is literally like shining when you're surrounded by people because maybe you're speaking about things you're really enjoying. or you're getting to sort of take advantage of the opportunities given to you through your social network, through social media. This could be a great time to grow your social media or to grow your following. And because Venus always has to do with love and romance, I can also see you dating a friend, starting to look at a friend differently, or maybe starting a partnership with a friend is another possibility. A few aspects Venus is making. She will square Pluto on May 1st, 2 days before, 2 days after. And Pluto is in your 8th house, and here you are potentially having to deal with some kind of debt or entanglement, dependency you have on another person, and realizing how certain things in your life, from financial things to agreements you have with others, even if it's like a mental thing that you need to do a certain thing, behave a certain way, you may realize how it's standing in your way. And then Venus will sextile Saturn and conjoin Uranus and Jupiter later on. And so I feel like, to me, that reads as you're also experiencing some kind of perspective shift. You're maybe exploring opportunities that involve education, travel, and you're looking at things with like a very serious, sober perspective, but also future-oriented perspective. So Venus sextiling Saturn suggests that like you're realizing that either you need to change perspectives, or you need to travel, you need to do some kind of like apply for some visa or do some legal related work. Maybe you need to start studying. So you need to make some kind of like important changes in your life. And then conjunction to Uranus and Jupiter later on between the 18th and the 23rd of the month suggests openings, exciting opportunities that involve future dreams, that involve friends, that involves social media and social growth. Let me know how this resonates, and if you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. If you are a Leo rising, Venus is entering your 10th house. This is beautiful and magical and professionally abundant, right? So for different people, professional life will be different. If you are really young and you don't have a job yet, this might be about your public life, your reputation, what you're known for, getting some kind of exciting project. If you are retired, maybe it's about your involvement with the community or what people know of you when you leave the house, right? It's like your public life when you're outside of your house. If you do have a job, classically, like Venus in the 10th house could internally just inspire you to do things that are creative, that are fun, that are inspirational. You're less willing to do work that is just mundane, right? You want fun, you want pleasure. And so as you're craving that, there might be more opportunities to do work that is maybe more creative, to do work that lets you travel, that lets you write, that lets you talk about beauty, talk about love, talk about art, write potentially, right? I feel like I may have said that already, but like a lot of exciting opportunities. There is a square to Pluto on May 1st in your 7th house, and somehow your professional life contradicts your relationship, or your vision of your future contradicts your partner's vision. Maybe also there are certain relationships in your life that you need to address before you're able to take a professional leap. Venus will also sextile Saturn on May 13th and conjoin Uranus and Jupiter. So I feel like you do run into some kind of roadblock, tension, maybe a need to have a serious conversation with your partner, with people in your life, figure sort of logistical matters out, but then you're moving forward with that sextile to Saturn in the 8th and that ability to negotiate and problem solve and create more fairness and create more agreement and understanding in your relationships in your professional life. And then the conjunction to Uranus and Jupiter between the 18th and 23rd of May is very much the time to like go ahead, to press full speed and make things happen. Let me know how this resonates, and if you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. If you are a Virgo rising, Venus is entering your 9th house, blessing all the matters connected to education, travel, writing, publishing, law, and faith, right? Venus in the 9th could inspire you to travel, because she is the planet of love, she can also inspire you to date someone foreign or date a classmate, date someone who's like opening up your mind. So meeting someone while traveling is more likely. Meeting someone on a dating app that lives in a different country that inspires you to sort of dream about traveling together is quite likely here. Because ninth house represents education, you may be more drawn to study things that are pleasurable, learning about sex and sexuality, taking classes with your significant other, going on a date, and taking like a cooking class is a possibility too. Feeling more inspired to write, to teach, to share your knowledge. And maybe publishing your work or doing some kind of like legal work where you're applying for a visa to go to a place that you feel inspires you. There will be a bit of a tension between your desire for growth and maybe your responsibilities to other people, health, your health or health of other people in your life, maybe some work matters that are bringing you down early in May, late April, early May, as Venus squares Pluto in your 6th house. So try to take it slow and steady, and just, you know, if something is upsetting you about your existing job, maybe it's a sign that you need to make some changes. Venus will also later in the month sextile Saturn conjoin Uranus and Jupiter. So Saturn is in your 7th house, and I think there's a suggestion here that you're getting exciting partnership opportunities. Someone's coming into your life and opening doors for you. Can also suggest that your partner is being supportive. Maybe you're starting some kind of partnership with your significant other and moving forward with that growth project. So definitely pay attention to, you know, what is blocking you, what is frustrating you, and how you can change it. And likely, if you're willing to make the changes happen, later in the month, you will see the results. Let me know how this resonates, and if you're curious to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. If you are the lovely Libra rising, this is your chart ruler entering the sign she's happy in, and you are bound to see some goodness, some good results, right? Even though Venus is going into your 8th house, which is a dark house, she's still strong. So this could be beautiful for your money, but likely also partner's money, because 8th house is always like resources other people share with us. So your partner might be making a lot more money. Maybe they're getting their tax money back. I don't know, maybe most people have already received it, but they might be getting a pay raise, an inheritance, some kind of bonus, and you're benefiting through that. If you're not in a relationship, Venus in the 8th house can bring you a good tax return. She can gift you with a lottery winning or some kind of possibility. You know, I have been telling Libra risings to play the lottery, and I have been myself. So far, nothing really happened. But I think until May 25th, May 23rd, potentially, you really have good results, good possibilities for profiting through other people, through your connections. And then after that, stop it. But it's true, because we have really good energy there. Maybe it's about taking action professionally. Maybe it's about starting partnerships. Maybe it's about reaching out to people and promoting certain creations, right? Like there's a lot of gifts, a lot of opportunities that may come to you through other people, through other people's resources, through their connections, through their finances sometimes. But it could also be, you know, you need someone's contact information because you're looking to partner up with them. And so you ask a friend who knows a friend who knows a friend. So it's a great time for anything like that. There is going to be a bit of tension as Venus squares Pluto in your 5th house between May 29th and April 29th and May 3rd. And this could suggest that there is a bit of kind of, you know, with all this growth, you're either having to deal with tension in your romantic relationship, address some disagreements about children, about parenthood, maybe address some creative burnout that you are facing as you're moving forward. Venus will sextile Saturn in the 6th house and then conjoin Uranus and Jupiter between May 13th and 23rd. And so I think you are slowly but surely taking steps to make a plan, to figure out your strategy, and then take action in terms of like collaborating with other people, working with other people. Let me know how this resonates, and if you're curious to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Next, if you are a Scorpio rising, Venus is entering your 7th house. This is beautiful for relationships of all kinds. Even if it is finding a good doctor or finding a plumber or finding a lawyer, right? Like anywhere where you have to deal, negotiate client work, right? But of course, this is also very romantic. If you're single, this is a great time. The next few weeks are great for putting yourself out there, going on dates, connecting with other people. If you are in a relationship, Venus and Taurus can help you compromise and make amends and find peace in your relationship, maybe move a relationship to the next level and kind of grow somehow too. Venus will be squaring Pluto in your 4th house in late April, early May, which could suggest some kind of drama related to family, drama related to your home, your living situation that is affecting your relationship. Maybe you're in the middle of, finishing the construction on your house and there is like another setback and you get frustrated and you get in a fight with your partner, and then you realize that it's about something else, or you realize that you need to manage your anger better. Or it's about family, right? Like if family is too involved or family is too sort of tangled up and like to a point that it starts affecting your relationship, maybe it's a sign that you need to have better boundaries with your family or with your significant other. Venus will later sextile Saturn, conjoin Uranus and Jupiter in your 7th house. Saturn is in the 5th house. So this is a sign that you are figuring things out. You are becoming more discerning, slow, steady, practical. You're maybe starting a creative project or doing something that brings you pleasure. You're maybe working on becoming a parent and growing your relationships somehow. And that will be different for different people, but it's definitely an energy of like finding more joy, moving through problems, and then growing relationships. Let me know how this resonates, and if you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Now, if you are a Sagittarius rising, Venus is entering your 6th house. Venus in the 6th is beneficial for work relationships. You may notice that your connections with colleagues are improving. You're maybe becoming more attracted to a colleague, more interested in dating a colleague. It will be easier to problem solve and to compromise professionally, but also maybe in your personal life. Venus in the 6th house tends to be very practical about love, and you may notice that you're starting to show affection by helping your partner fill their car with gas or helping them do laundry, right? So there might be like a lot more practical signs of affection. You may enjoy doing beautiful things and creative things as you're moving through your day, because 6th house represents like doing laundry, running errands, doing the dishes, right? So Venus here could inspire you to put on your favorite song, to buy some flowers, put them in your house, so you're not just cleaning the home, but you're also beautifying the home. There might be some conflict, some scheduling issues in late April, early May as Venus squares Pluto in your 3rd house, maybe even issues with siblings or neighbors, especially if they're being too kind of, controlling or too involved or too possessive with you. So you may need to figure out better ways to move through things. But then Venus sextile Saturn conjoins Uranus and Jupiter in the 6th house. Saturn is in your 4th house. So it feels like you're coming to an agreement, figuring things out, and maybe taking some kind of action that involves your moving, that involves improving your family relationships and improving your home and living situation. Maybe also making changes to your work that allows you to spend more time with family or move or improve your living situation. Let me know how this resonates, and if you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Next, if you are a Capricorn rising, Venus is entering your 5th house, which is the house joy for Venus. She's here, very pleasure-oriented, so you may notice that you're craving more fun in your life. Dance classes, sculpture classes, buying new food, treating yourself to things. She's also really good at manifesting a relationship here. So if you're single and trying to date, this is a great time to put yourself out there. Maybe write down the qualities that you're looking for in your perfect partner and then go for it. Take action. It's a really inspired time. So if you're a creative person, you may enjoy, you know, exploring your passions. And for some people, they will be literally painting. For others, it would be learning about astrology. So investing time into creativity, spending time with children, spending time making children. You may notice your sex drive increasing and just feeling overall playful, which is very much translates into hanging out with kids and having a good time. There might be some conflicts, disagreements related to money and values when it comes to your relationship, romantic relationship, or your creative partnership. So you may have to address that early in May. But then around May 13th, Venus sextiles Saturn in the 3rd house, and it sounds like you are, you know, taking action, you're writing, you're compromising, negotiating, coming to agreements. And then Venus will conjoin Uranus and Jupiter between May 18th and 23rd. And this is very much a continuation of the energy we had in late April with Jupiter-Uranus conjunction of fireworks in your 5th house, new beginnings, new creative projects, new passions, new life that has more pleasure and more joy and more inspiration, sex and fun in your life. Let me know how this resonates, and if you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. If you are an Aquarius rising, Venus is entering your 4th house. Here, the benefits go to home, family, living situation. You will feel inspired to add beauty into your home, to buy flowers, to paint walls, to put art in your home. You will enjoy more nights in and more sort of passionate dates, but indoors. More time spent with family, more time entertaining guests in your home potentially. All relationships, it's like familial relationships, will benefit, and you're more likely to make amends with family members that you're maybe struggling with and connect with, you know, family members you haven't seen in a while. There will be potentially some power struggles in late April, early May as Venus squares Pluto in your 1st house, and you will get a chance to release an old way of looking at things and perhaps transform your personal rigidity and frustration and control issues, or, you know, any struggles you might have. But Venus will also sextile Saturn, conjoin Uranus and Jupiter between May 13th and 23rd, which suggests that you will eventually figure out how to move forward. There might be some kind of financial gains coming your way. You know, if you're like waiting for some kind of settlement, it may come through, because you know, the new beginnings in the home family living situation can be connected to you receiving some kind of inheritance or money or resources. And then you're getting a chance to like expand your home. Let me know how this resonates. And if you want to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Last but not least, if you are a Pisces rising, Venus is entering your 3rd house. And here we're looking the benefits coming to your neighborhood, speech, community, skills, hobbies, education, writing. So you're feeling more inspired. You're feeling more creative. Venus here can ignite your passion for writing, can sort of put you in touch with your skills and hobbies and things that you really like to do. She can bring a lot of joy in terms of exploring your neighborhood, walking around, sitting in the park, you know, sunbathing. You may encounter people in your walks and when you're out and about that you befriend or even find attractive. Dating a neighbor, dating someone you met through a sibling, dating someone you met at a local coffee shop is all quite likely here. And you're also likely to notice that you become much better at creating harmony and peace around you, become more charming in your speech, and better at like compromise, negotiation, diplomacy. You may have to run into some kind of issues late April, early May. You may run into some issues as Venus squares Pluto in your 12th house. And that feels to me like you're becoming more aware about your self-defeating tendencies. Because if there is some kind of conflict with your sibling or a neighbor or some kind of scheduling issue or you getting frustrated about something, it will likely teach you a lesson and will help you to maybe let go of smoking or let go of people pleasing and sort of change the way you do things. And then Venus will sextile Saturn on May 13th, conjoin Uranus and Jupiter in your third house between May 18th and 23rd. And this allows you a chance to present yourself or show up in the world or, you know, take a responsibility and be like very Saturnian, be a leader, be guide, a mentor for other people potentially, maybe take action, maybe take better care of yourself, but also kind of, yeah, like own up, I think, own your power and show up in the world and be like, this is what I want, this is who I am, and I'm willing to take action, I'm willing to take steps. And then later when it conjoins Uranus and Jupiter, there might be, you know, new skills, new role in the community you're taking, a business you're starting, teaching, writing project you're pursuing. So a lot of exciting opportunities. If you're curious to know more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful and you feel as excited about Venus entering Taurus as I am. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.